Studio microphone title: The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire and the Greatest Empire in History. 2,000 years ago, in a world ruled by sword and strategy, a small city rose to dominate the entire known world. It wasn't just an empire. It was a force that shaped civilization itself. This is the story of the Roman Empire. The rise, the glory, the betrayal, the fall, cut to cinematic visuals of Roman legions, the Colosseum, emperors, and ruins. The birth of a legend 753 BC 509 BC. Before the towering emperors, before the Senate ruled with iron resolve, there was a legend. The Roman Empire was born not from marble halls or golden palaces, but from a myth drenched in violence and destiny. According to ancient lore, Rome was founded in 753 BC by Romulus, a descendant of the Trojan hero Aeneas. Raised by a she-wolf with his twin brother Remus, Romulus became the first king of Rome after killing his own brother. That was Rome's first lesson to the world. Power is not given, it is taken. Rome began as a monarchy, ruled by kings. But its people were not content to serve forever. In 509 BC, the Romans overthrew their last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, a tyrant. From this rebellion, the Roman Republic was born. The Republic rises 509 BC 27 BC. For almost 500 years, Rome was a republic, ruled not by kings, but by elected officials, senators, and consuls. It was a government built on ambition, alliances, and betrayal. Rome expanded rapidly through war and diplomacy. It battled its neighbors, dominated the Italian peninsula, and faced its greatest rival, Carthage. Enter the Punic Wars. The Second Punic War introduced the world to a terrifying name, Hannibal Barca. He crossed the Alps with elephants, a feat thought impossible. Yet Rome endured, led by General Scipio Africanus, and crushed Carthage in 146 BC. Rome now ruled the western Mediterranean. But victory brought corruption. Generals grew powerful, senators became greedy, the republic began to rot from within. And into this chaos stepped three names that would change history: Julius Caesar, Pompey, Crassus. The first triumvirate, Julius Caesar, dictator for life 100 BC 44 BC. He was more than a man. He was ambition incarnate. Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, marched on Rome, and declared himself dictator for life. The Senate feared him. His power was too great. On the Ides of March, 44 BC, he was stabbed 23 times by his own friends and senators, including Brutus. The Republic hoped to recover. But Caesar's ghost would not rest. The empire is born 27 BC 14 AD. Rome wept, but Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, later known as Augustus, rose from the ashes. He avenged Caesar, crushed his enemies, and in 27 BC, became the first emperor of Rome. The Roman Republic was dead. Long live the Roman Empire. Augustus ruled with wisdom and strategy. He expanded borders, built roads, and ushered in a 200-year era of peace known as Pax Romana, Roman peace. The empire became a machine. Roads stretched across Europe. Aqueducts carried water to cities. Latin became the language of law and power. Rome was no longer a city. It was civilization itself. I can now continue with the next parts covering Tiberius to Nero, the Flavian dynasty, the Five Good Emperors, the Severan dynasty, the crisis of the 3rd century, Diocletian's reforms, Constantine and the Christian Empire, the split of East and West, and the fall of the Western Empire in 476 AD. The madness of emperors 14 AD 96 AD. Fire Tiberius to Nero, the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Augustus' successor was Tiberius, a skilled general but a paranoid ruler. He retired to Capri, leaving his empire in the hands of cruel advisors. Then came Caligula, remembered as one of the most insane emperors in history. He declared himself a god, built golden statues of himself, and allegedly made his horse a consul. His reign ended with assassination. Next, Claudius, an unlikely emperor with a limp and a stutter, surprised the world. He conquered Britannia, built aqueducts, and strengthened Rome's bureaucracy. But after him came Nero, a name that still evokes fire and horror. Nero was a performer, a madman, and a tyrant. He murdered his mother, blamed Christians for the Great Fire of Rome, and played the lyre as the city burned. In 68 AD, faced with revolt, Nero committed suicide. The Julio-Claudian dynasty had collapsed. Rome was in chaos. Emperors rose and fell in a single year. It was known as the Year of the Four Emperors. Then, finally, stability returned. Vespasian and the Flavians 69 AD 96 AD. Vespasian, a no-nonsense military man, seized control and brought back order. He began construction on one of the most iconic symbols of Rome. Stadium the Colosseum, built by slaves and funded with the spoils of war, especially from the Jewish revolt in Jerusalem, the Colosseum became the heart of Roman entertainment, where gladiators fought to the death before roaring crowds. His sons Titus and Domitian followed. Titus completed the Colosseum and dealt with disasters, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD and a massive fire in Rome. Domitian ruled as an autocrat, feared by the Senate, and was eventually assassinated. The Five Good Emperors 96 AD 180 AD. And then, Rome witnessed greatness. 5 emperors, chosen not by blood, but by merit, ruled with wisdom, stability, and vision. Nerva, Trajan, expanded Rome to its greatest size. Under his reign, the empire stretched from Britain to the Persian Gulf. Hadrian, built Hadrian's Wall in Britain and focused on defending the empire rather than expanding it. Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, who wrote Meditations, and led Rome through wars and plague. This was the golden age of Rome. Cities thrived, art, law, and culture flourished. Trade routes reached Africa, India, and even China. But even gold tarnishes. After Marcus Aurelius came his son, Commodus, arrogant, violent, and obsessed with gladiatorial combat. His reign marked the beginning of a long decline. Crisis of the 3rd century 180 AD 284 AD. The empire began to crack. Rome entered a terrifying era of crisis. For nearly 100 years, emperors were overthrown like dominoes. Civil war, invasions, plague, economic collapse. Over 26 emperors ruled in just 50 years, many lasting only months. Barbarian tribes pushed into Roman lands. Provinces declared independence. It seemed Rome would fall. But then came a soldier from Illyria. A man of steel and reform. Diocletian and the division 284 AD 305 AD. Diocletian saved the empire, but not by restoring the old. He divided the empire into east and west, each ruled by a co-emperor. He introduced the Tetrarchy, 4 rulers to manage Rome's vast lands. He reformed taxes, strengthened the army, and crushed revolts. But Diocletian also unleashed one of the bloodiest persecutions of Christians in history. When he retired in 305 AD, the first emperor ever to do so voluntarily, Rome was stable, but changed forever. Would you like me to continue with Part 10, which covers Constantine the Great, the rise of Christianity, and the shift of power to the Eastern Roman Empire Byzantium?